something serious, something that could really change a lot of things concerning this, how they conducted the charade called elections in the contraption. They are doing something called constitutional review right now. And there is a part of that, among other things, all right? There's a part of that that is relative or related to uh, electoral reform. You know, a lot of you have been talking about electoral reform. They have to do electoral reform before 2027. And what are the reforms that you want them to do? I don't think many of you have listed what reforms, right? But listen to this. So the National Assembly of Nigeria, they are working on the amendment bill to your, I mean, of your electoral kind of like rules, okay? So they call it Electoral Act Amendment Bill 2025. So their plan, according to them, is to infuse some new stuffs in and take some off. For example, in this their new proposal, they are proposing to start or to introduce early voting, meaning police officers, um, you know, uniformed men, so to say, they could vote and send in their vote first before you will vote. All right. And then the election is also being proposed that it shouldn't be 2027, it should be November 2026, which would then give the parties that participate in that election, if they have any litigation going to court from what do you call it, from the tribunal to maybe Supreme Court, I don't know. So you should have all of that concluded before anybody is sworn in to any office they have been declared to have won. So these are more are what they are pushing. Another thing they are also pushing in their 2025 amendment for your election is the use of voters card, your PVC. They want to turn that to like optional. Do you get what I mean now? So, in fact, hang on. I think I have what is that called? I have a copy of that they are releasing here. I want to read it like in steps that way, right? So according to them, they drafted the bill, okay, and they attempted to amend some section of the electoral law of Nigeria, okay. Said they are introducing early voting, right, which as outlined in section 2. So the section 2 of this their proposal, as stated here, said the section states that a specific date should be designated for early voting occurring no more than 14 days prior to election day. That's section 2. Then the proposal also kind of says that those in Nigeria who are eligible for early voting include security personnel, officials from Electoral Commission, accredited observers, journalists, and commission's temporary staff. In that same section 2 of that their bill, right? They said it also specifies that there shall be a date set aside for early voting, not later than 14 days before the day of election. And they have another section of that bill called section 65 of the drafts, right? Said the presiding officer shall transmit the result. This is transmission of results now. Remember that they spent over 200 billion on their 2023 charade, right? And from that, they had about 70 or so billion, right, spent on using technology in your elections, right? Including Jonathan introduced the PVC, including this, the Abivas, the one that will take your picture uh, for accreditation or something, right? And then the superb lie they sold to the young people in 2023 was that election can be rigged. I mean, it can be rigged because as you are voting, they are transmitting your results right there. They don't even have to wait till local government or those stuff. Don't worry yourself. So you are voting now, they are uploading your results. Yeah, everybody, worldwide, everybody will be seeing the results as they are coming in. Nobody can rig it. I bet a lot of you have learned your lesson, by the way, that it can be rigged. So now they don't want to use that technology anymore. All right. So they are now making it optional, just to say they could transfer the results by electronic or by manual, meaning there is still very much room for interference. So now, other part of their proposal, I'm kind of like reading it paraphrasing, sure you get, because I can't read everything. So they have this, they call this adjustment, by the way, right? They said this, the proposal included in the broad changes to the 2022 Electoral Act aims to shift the elections forward by roughly 6 months. This adjustment is intended to ensure that all legal matters related to the elections, both before and after, are resolved by the handover date on May 29th. So this is why they want to try and have the election in November instead of February 2027. It will be November 2026. So in part as well, I said the proposal is included in the draft changes to the 2022 Electoral Act, which requires elections for both positions take place at least 185 days before current office holders' term ends, which is May 29. Now, there is a section called Section 47 of the suggested amendment now, right? It reads, elections into the office of the president and governor of a state shall be held not later than 185 days before the expiration of the term of office of the last holder of the office. Now, in accordance with Section 45 of the suggested amendment concerning legislative elections, it is stipulated that elections into the State House of Assembly and the National Assembly shall be held not later than 185 days before the date on which each of the houses stands dissolved. All right. So I will leave it to that. The point there now, Shai, is that PVC as well will become like optional. So they want to adopt God knows what, right? That would then replace your PVC, which means that you can still vote even if you don't have a voter's card in that sense. But you still have to register to vote, or you must have an ID or something, right? Meanwhile, Tifnumbu's own permutation, this is just setting the rules that the rest of you would have to probably follow at some point, okay? However, when it comes to how they intend to carry out his re-election and the rest, well, the ball is rolling. And as it is, the scheme is very simple, just descriptive, okay? Very simple. Every governor that is with a Tifnumbu or in APC, no matter what anybody says or anyone is saying, you have just one job, and that job is to ensure that the INEC returning officer for your state never leaves your sight. You understand? The day you hear the name of the person that will be the INEC returning officer for your state, or INEC commissioner, whatever for your state, yeah? You as a governor, you hold him, because that is the person that will announce whatever figure you give to him or her. Just like Willie Wike did in Rivers. He did it. There's no consequences or anything. So as it stands, those who are probably left in PDP and APC, I'm sorry, PDP especially, are probably like just counting their days, as the Tifnumbu's poaching team have now succeeded in converting Enugu to APC, in which Peter Mba told his people in Enugu that the only way they can benefit from the center, like benefit from the federal government of Nigeria better, is to join the ruling party. You get that now? Like, not that for his own political survival or anything, but, join the ruling party, Enugu will now benefit more. And I'm like, we have APC states now. APC currently controls like about 24 or 25 states in Nigeria now. Would you say that any of them, by any means, I mean, like all of them are better than Enugu or better than you are in the opposition? But you know, it's for political survival, by the way. So yeah, let's go to Enugu, where their what do you call it? Their practicability of their politics is completely different from whatever their law says or whatever their law is saying. It's a different interpretation when it comes to these guys. So as we speak, there's a plan for after the local government elections in Taraba. After this Enugu guy now, right? The next person is going to be Taraba. So Taraba is also PDP, so it's already like on his way. They want to do local government elections, right? And by next month, he's also going to declare his own, I'm joining Tifnumbu. And then there is Bayelsa. There is also Plateau State. So these other two are like anytime too. And there is also Abia, Alexoti, which the, as the time rolls by, right, is going to have to, you know what I mean, like others, give you reasons why they just have to, it's because of his policies. Anyway, Umba, telling everybody why it is the good idea or good thing for Enugu people to become part of the APC, and all the past governors, some of their former political appointees and even the president, they were all there, which means it's like a whole house. And for Tifnumbu, you guys have no idea what is still coming. Mokuna, just relax there. Well, let's go to Enugu, where they are now singing on his mandate. They shall die.
On your mandate we shall stand. On your mandate we shall stand. On your mandate, Bola. On your mandate, Bola. On your mandate we shall stand. We shall stand. On your mandate we shall stand. Bola. On your mandate we shall stand. Umba.
Demonstrated generosity and foresight. Many of you have witnessed decades of broken promises. When we approached you, we did not ask for blind loyalty, but some faith in our vision. You gave us that faith. Together with your vote of confidence, we have achieved remarkable progress. To my colleagues in the administration, I'm grateful for your resilience. We have walked a path that often felt like a marathon without rest. Many of the ideas we put forward were dismissed as unrealistic. But you kept pushing the boundaries of what was possible. Because of your dedication, today we hear applause for Enugu across Nigeria and beyond. To the People's Democratic Party, which provided us the platform on which we campaigned and won, I extend deep gratitude. The PDP supported us through a demanding campaign and joined us in celebrating the victory. For nearly 3 decades, the PDP and the people of Enugu worked side by side, united by shared purpose. Together we built relationships that will always matter to me personally and to this state. Yet, leadership sometimes demands difficult, even painful decisions in the service of higher principles and goals. And there comes always a time when everyone must make a bold choice to determine their destiny. Today, after a long reflection, we have made the decision to leave the People's Democratic Party and join the All Progressive
On your mandate we shall stand. On your mandate we shall stand. On your mandate, on your mandate, on your mandate we shall stand. We shall stand. On your mandate we shall stand.
That now he said Tifnumbu has been very generous to Enugu State. And I'm like, they all say that, by the way, by saying, oh, Tifnumbu has been giving them more money. It's not like he's giving Enugu State more money than any other state that, giving Enugu State more money than Enugu deserved. It is the sharing of every money that they declared available will be shared. So if Tifnumbu, with what they have done with your Naira and the devaluation and all of that, says he's increased the allocation to these states, how is that? Anyway, you have to give it to Tifnumbu. You get me now? As much as many are expecting some people who claimed to be in the opposition to at least show some level of a better governance that you can compare to that of the APC, and say, look at all these opposition states, look at what they are doing, look at their healthcare, look at their education, look at their road infrastructures, look at the power, look at employment, all those stuff, right? That you can say, why can't they replicate all of these things? If these guys should have access to power, they would possibly do even better, that kind of a thing. No, they are not better. They are all worse in that kind of like a level. Do you get that now? So they are not there to stand up and speak for you, except when they are speaking to benefit politically, which is normally their job. But there should also be something like patriotism too, where you can feel like this is now to run a country. This is our country now. Why would we allow some people to be running like, nah? Because their interest is most important. And once their interest is covered, everything else is just fair game to them. So You have to give it to call. He's giving them what they want. So if you want to be very kind of like objective, clear-headed, right? You will see that what they are doing is that they are separating themselves from you. This part is for them showing how strong they are once they put out the roll call, the names of the people on their list, and I say, look at